Hey everyone, welcome back. This is episode 7 of Writing Backwards podcast. I'm Jason Klink, your host, and this podcast is all about my different perspectives, experiences, and a little bit of opinion on both the fire service, life in the firehouse, and life in public safety in general. Today, I wanted to talk about governing boards and governing bodies. And this is a direct result of a lot of things that have been going on in the news here recently as it relates to fire districts and fire district contracts and some of the government oversight that goes into those. I learned a long time ago that there's always some type of governing body, no matter what type of public safety you're in. It can be a board of directors, a board of commissioners, a city council, a county legislature. Any type of public safety entity falls within some type of government framework. And with that, there's some difficulties because with here in New York State, uh, with New York State being a home rule state when it comes to fire departments, the fire chiefs ultimately are responsible for every part of the operations of the department. And this goes into the decision making. The problem is that when you get into budgets, policies, and standards, a lot of times it's out of the fire chief's control. And the leadership of a fire department may feel that there's certain things that may be in the best interest of the department, but that government or governing body may not. I have seen village fire departments secede from the union, so to say, and ultimately I'll decide to become an independent department. And usually the reason over the last couple of decades was because the village board, and insert whatever village here, would typically control the purse strings when it came to budgets. And a lot of times these governing bodies would, take in the fire budget or take in the fire tax and create the fire budget. But they'd be, here, you can have this amount in your budget, but we're going to keep this amount for a rainy day. We're going to take this amount and this chunk of money and put it in our general fund in case we have to, buy a police car or a DPW vehicle. This tends to create problems, especially when in a fire department that's depending on those fire tax dollars to buy equipment, to buy tools, to buy apparatus. And this is really a strife over the last 2 or 3 decades that have caused those village fire departments to ultimately go independent and create their own board of directors. But even with board of directors, even the town fire departments with fire commissioners, even a city council over a career department in any city, they're still controlling those purse strings. And a lot of times when there's contracts attached to those purse strings, no matter what that contract's for, it's a bone of contention and always up for negotiation when it's time to enter into those contracts. Realistically, especially here in New York, most areas are paying very, very low fire tax, and they usually get decent service. Some areas better than others. Um, but with that, with the cost and the current economic situation across the country and the cost for doing business, even as a fire department, all of these amounts have risen quite a bit over the last 2, 3, even 5 years. And the budget that was set 5 years ago really doesn't apply now. And trying to operate with a budget that was created a decade ago really doesn't work now. It could be that bone of contention and negotiation between the leadership of the department and the governing board that is creating that oversight. Anybody that knows me knows that I had my challenges with my board of fire commissioners years ago. And, as a young chief and trying to figure out the ins and outs of being that number one leader, it was always a topic of discussion, usually a topic of disagreement when it came to budget dollars, governing body oversight. And even to this day, um, I always feel compelled to make sure that everybody understands and be the voice of reason when, that oversight may be overreaching, that the leadership is underachieving, and there's not enough solutions being brought forth to problems, just more bone of contention and negotiations. So I hope this podcast episode is making sense. I know it'll resonate with fire service leadership across our little local area here in New York, but it may also resonate with you in your area. Um, it, I, my best piece of advice is there always needs to be a middle ground, a neutral zone, a place where, both the governing body and the leadership can sit down, discuss the goals for the year, discuss the plans for the year, and discuss budget and make sure the dollars and cents make sense. And that we're always trying to work towards solutions, towards problems, and not creating more problems because of the problems we already have. I'd love to hear your comments. Please drop a comment on this. Let me know your experiences in this area. As always, like and share, trying to build a community around this little podcast. And I appreciate the interaction, the sharing, and the like of the podcast. So, with that, everyone, be safe, take care of each other, and have a great day.